Welcome back to Delta Green, where the agents are at the moment in St. Louis on this lovely day in early April. Okay, my calendar has completely the wrong dates for some reason. I guess I'll have to fix that at some point soon. No? Okay. We have different... Okay. This is a version 13 thing where I can see like different data depending on which button I click on, because the modules haven't kept up with the rest of the development just yet. That's what I get for updating after only 2 months. I am your handler, Mikael Hellström, and this show is rated R for cosmic horrors that will melt faces and brains and sometimes skin tissue. We've seen that on one agent who just, their entire intestinal system literally melted, and it was insanity inducing, to be sure. Who is with us today, night, wherever you are?
Darian playing Brian Fenton, who's been having a bad couple of days.
Uh-huh.
I'm Briar, and I'm playing Dr. Alex Blair.
We have two
I'm
more.
Cal.
There we go, yeah.
I'm Cal, and I will be playing Jack Morgan.
I'm Harper, and I'm playing Cora Franny Talbot, who apparently now has a thing for muffins.
Okay then. Yeah, I guess
It's
we
in
have
the
that
character
now.
sheet, and I didn't put it there, and I
Yep.
know who did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's you can actually have muffins now. It's, you know, if my two different...
I'm not upset about it. I just saw it. I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, a new day in St. Louis, and yeah, you can have muffins. I don't think anyone is gonna begrudge you muffins. Shall we recap last session? That was a complete and utter mess in so many ways.
Can we maybe just pretend it didn't happen and everyone lived happily ever after?
Denial is definitely a state you can be in when you've had enough emotional and mental trauma. That is absolutely true. I'm not sure it's going to cut it this time, though. In short, our Z-Cell went through some horrible things. They ambushed Doug Walters / Ronald Valiant, their nemesis in St. Louis, the man who led Analysis and turned out to be, I guess, another psychopath, didn't he? But it also turned out that ambushing him was a terrible idea, because he was basically TPKing the entire group. We had 2 people down, unconscious. We had calls, frenetic calls to anyone who can help, please, including from Talbot to a bookstore manager. Go figure. Obviously what I do when I'm involved in a fight, life and death struggle with a strange person doing things that physics have said is impossible, is calling my local, or not so local, bookstore manager. But it worked, didn't it, Talbot?
Indeed.
Because you were all saved by a certain Stephen Alziz, which comes at, I'm sure, absolutely no cost. Fenton was calling A-Cell as frantically, but basically left a very disjointed message on the answering machine. As the case might be, you have no idea what happened to the unknown subject, which was no longer an unknown subject. The subject, your suspect, your chief suspect, because he disappeared into thin air. One moment he was there, one moment he was not. Much like Mr. Stephen Alziz. Instead, you went to Analysis, the local chapter in St. Louis, and wanted to investigate that place, where you found a site of a mass casualty event, to be frank. Now, and afterwards, now that the tally can probably be properly be assessed, you will know that in that small room, there were about 60 Analysis members, all crammed in, all with their crystals. The ones who had the long crystal with the pointy end on both sides actually survived. They only went into a weird coma, from which they're all waking up this morning because they've had that long, nice sleep that 2 of you are familiar with by now because you've also had that. And 12 were turned into desiccated, mummified, very crispy bodies that were sitting in the position of how they have been meditating, much like Colonel Daniels was. So now instead of having 1 body in that state, you have 13 altogether, including Colonel Daniels. All of them, all of the 13, had one thing in common. They had a crystal that was half as long and pointy in only one end. You completed the investigation and clearing the rest of the building, finding Valiant's apartment above the Analysis store, and of course his place was eccentric. Weird mix of waterbeds, white collar, and dumbbells lying around. Also, sordid collection of home store-bought pornography and home taped ditto, including an absolutely horrible tape of him engaging in elaborate intimacy with Hope, the strange creature that you think you have destroyed. And then there was the tape when he's talking to the world, apparently, about how aliens have infiltrated the world and have taken over all the major religions, and he's gonna liberate the world from these aliens who are controlling the world, according to him. He looked very frantic on that one. Gaston, so far, is pleased with the fact that we can close the file on this without any too severe rupturings of the walls between the natural and the unnatural, as it were. So far, everything the press knows and the world knows is that Ronald Valiant / Doug Walters is a wanted terrorist on the run. I don't know if he's FBI's #1 fugitive, but he's in the top right now. This is just 2 years from the Oklahoma City bombing. That is fresh in memory. And the fact that casualties here were considerably lower and also confined mostly to a cult, that's what the press says now, a cult, makes people not as alarmed because it wasn't a mass casualty event in downtown hitting a bunch of civilians and federal employees like the Oklahoma City bombing. For now, lots of press interest, absolutely, that Gaston is handling, and sensationalism because it makes for great headlines, let's face it. But nothing has been recorded that implicates Delta Green, which is a good thing, probably. And that is basically where we left off, wasn't it?
I think Talbot left off on her doing something naughty.
Me? Naughty? Never.
She would
I'm an
never.
innocent little baby dropped fresh from heaven.
Yes.
Yeah, she's definitely not slipping out to a green box right now.
You don't know that. I
I
did
do.
not. First of all, I did not slip. I told you where I was going, and I told you what I was doing. And you choose to be suspicious of me like I haven't just saved your ass.
Actually, per Fenton's role, he's not suspicious in the slightest.
Yeah, and yet you are.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
so ungrateful. Oh
For
my
good
god, I
reason.
just saved your life.
The player is suspicious, but not the character. Anyway, the first thing we're going to do now in the aftermath of this horrifying story is, of course, that since the story is over, I want you all to go into your character sheets and click Apply Skill Improvements. Let's see how this goes. Will anyone improve their skills, and by how much? That's a lot of D4s coming over the screen over here.
Message is
Interesting.
supposed to load?
Oh, yeah, it loaded, definitely. And I've seen the results. You all have improved various skills, which is good for you.
I can see Talbot's results. That's all I can see.
Oh, really?
I can't
Yeah.
see anyone's result.
Huh.
Well,
I've had
but-
some issues with
I can see all of your results.
Same.
It's a bit... Yeah, okay. I have a feeling we
Oh,
need
I've
another...
gotten really good at blowing people up.
Okay, I can see now.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, second part here is, of course, that we're going to get some new bonds, and we're going to choose some new disorders, I believe, because we had... Fenton actually did not hit his breaking point.
Yeah,
He's
it-
fine.
I did. I fixed it already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I hit my breaking point. It was 68. So I've already readjusted it back down.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get you one of those. And Talbot is also going to have one of those. And, oh, Alex Blair was 1 point away from her breaking point. Isn't that great?
Should I go ahead and... Oh my god, I
I?
realized I haven't added for motivations. Should I just go ahead and do that as well as add the disorder?
Yes, we should definitely do all that. All those things. So,
Wait, no,
Talbot.
I didn't mean to roll that. Dang it.
Good thing you
Okay,
didn't
that
do
means that you're losing all your sanity at once. No, wait, you're not.
That was an accident. Please ignore that.
I'll never ignore that. Anyway, but we also have some trauma bonding, don't we? Because some of you all are developing Delta Green bonds because of what has happened.
Fours.
Yeah, Delta Green
Oh.
bond. Let me remember because it doesn't happen very often. There we go. There we go. Delta Green bonds. Okay, so a member of the team suffers temporary insanity. A member of the team gains a new disorder. A member of the team is incapacitated by injuries, dies, or anything else. Okay. We didn't have the incapacitation by injuries, so that's okay. But we did have new disorders, didn't we? And Morgan actually took 5 points right away. So that means that we're going to have... Things have calmed down. And I want Morgan, Fenton, and Talbot to roll a sanity check, please.
Okie dokie.
I'm safe.
Everybody succeeded. Aww. Okay then, so nobody develops bonds to the rest of the group because you all succeeded with this. Then, that means that nobody still has a bond to Morgan. Isn't that sad?
Can I manually choose to fail?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm brutal like that. Then we'll have our disorders, don't we? Yeah. Because we are now in the situation of Fenton and Talbot gaining a disorder each because you have hit your breaking point. So the question is, what kind of disorder might we get here? It was both from the unnatural, wasn't it? Yeah. So sample disorders from the unnatural. Let's just copy and paste this into our Discord chat so you have a chance to... What was that?
I think most of them fall under natural.
Yeah, they do. I can put them here too, just for funsies.
Oh.
So what kind of disorder are we getting here? Why don't we start with Fenton, because alphabetical order.
So I was originally going to go with depression, actually, after the guilt he feels, now that there's been 2 massacres he's failed to stop. But considering that the break happened while he was sleeping, because that stupid crystal, I think I might actually go with the sleep disorder.
Sleep disorder. Very well. It's a disorder, and it's called sleep disorder. Very well. Yeah, that makes sense. You're like, yeah, I don't feel so good. And the whole sleeping part is difficult for me. So you need to make a sanity test every time you try to sleep. If it fails, you're gonna wake up repeatedly in terror and can't regain willpower points for 24 hours. Someone is gonna start with the sleeping pills, clearly. Talbot, what do you want to have? You don't want to have any of it, but if you had to choose, which
yeah,
you do?
no. I was originally thinking anxiety, but that's not on the list, so I'm thinking maybe megalomania.
That makes a lot of sense for Talbot, doesn't it? Oh my god. I have a feeling
Yeah,
that...
Yikes. You really want to date Cthulhu, don't you?
Man, way to go big with it.
I think for her, it comes across as a bit more like these guys can't be trusted to make their own decisions. Only I can keep them alive.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
tracks well with the whole I want to marry Cthulhu bit.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
I have a
so-
bad feeling, folks, that Cora Phryne Talbot is in fact compromised and will need to be put down sooner or later.
Oh no.
You just don't want me to be happy.
So, we took sanity rewards from this little mission here. The thing is, sanity rewards cuts two ways. There are rewards for things you have done, and there are penalties for things you failed to stop, failed to prevent. So if we're doing that, we have to do both. I'm not going to tell you exactly how that's going to turn out. So decide first. There is a risk that you lose more sanity than you gain, but there is also a possibility that you gain some sanity points. Who knows? Depends on what you did during the mission.
I'm willing to take the risk, but if everyone else would rather avoid it, then I'm perfectly fine with that as well.
I've got a backup character, so I'm fine with this risk taking.
All right.
I'm 1 point away from breaking. I'd rather not.
Morgan?
Okay, perhaps. I'm pretty sure. Is my sanity fine? I don't know what my breaking point is. Can't tell.
Your breaking point is 48, so you have 10 points left to get there.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see.
Cackle.
I'm gonna flip a coin.
You do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flip away. Let's see.
Let's see. Where's the D2 of that?
Yeah, it's you type /R spacebar 1d2. What does that mean?
That means we're doing the sanity thing.
Okay, we're
Oh,
doing the
no.
sanity thing. All right.
You might be fine, Blair.
What was that?
You might be fine, Blair.
You might.
Oh no.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows
Hopefully.
what's... I know what's going to happen because I know what the rewards are. Cackle. Yeah, exactly. What are the rewards? Let me read for you. Okay. You lose 1 sanity point per Enosis member killed, but you gain 2d6 for killing Valiant and Hope. Wait a minute, is that correct? I think you actually gain a d8 for killing Hope. Yeah. That is going to be 1d6 plus 1d8 minus 12. So you might win something. Fenton, roll it. That is 9 minus 12. You lose 3. Blair. Oh, who's that? Cora Phryne Talbot.
Sorry. Oh my god.
You lost
This is my
8.
die.
Yeah, that was a terrible die roll.
Ow. Sorry.
Ah, Blair crosses the threshold.
Oh, I'm broken.
We failed to stop that fucking massacre. We could have
did. Morgan, let's see how it goes for you. It's gonna be fun now if Morgan actually rolls an 8 and a 6 and actually
12.
gains 2 sanity points.
What is this?
She feels real sure that Enosis is dead.
Nope, close, but no banana.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still fine though. Y'all are not. Ah.
Oh, Blair, that means that you hit a breaking point, which means that you need to roll a sanity check to see if you are developing... Yeah. Okay, so
Oh.
Blair is gonna develop bonds to Delta Green. Here we go.
I almost died.
But didn't
you're fine.
develop bonds to Delta Green, so... Yeah, that's that.
That's chill. It happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Some bookkeeping here. Okay, you failed. You gain a new bond with each Delta Green teammate present for that disaster and increases any bonds that were already there. So... you had a bond to Fenton and Talbot. You did not have a bond to Morrigan, so we're gonna add that now. Morrigan. You have a bond to Morrigan, Blair. And that score is going to be... And we need to have Delta Green there. Okay. Oh, that's the relationship, of course. And then, let's see... half your agent's charisma, which is going to be a 4 then. And then we have a D4. So you're going to add a D4 to Fenton and a D4 to Talbot, and then you're going to subtract 1 from a non-Delta Green bond, Alex Blair. So let's roll a D4 for Fenton. You add 3 points to Fenton. Fenton is a good friend of yours. You've seen horrible things together with Fenton. And even worse things with Talbot. Because that was a 4.
I
So...
guess Willow is losing a point.
Willow, your sibling, is losing a point.
Yeah.
And who else is losing a point? You still have decent bonds because you haven't projected any of his sanity losses onto a bond yet. So there's a thing.
Say Dad.
Very well.
It's going in order.
It's going in order. Sadly. Which, that final point was for violence, wasn't it? You are adapted to violence, but it was the XP rewards and everything. It was the mass killings that tipped you over the edge. So I'm going to say it's really related to violence more than anything else. Just because you're adapted to violence doesn't mean that you can never take sanity loss due to violence. It just mitigates it. Let's see. You might have some different disorders coming your way here. You might have... Let's see. We have... addiction, depression, an addicted doctor would not be a bad thing for the occupation at all. I completely see. Intermittent explosive disorder, ligorophobia, paranoia, PTSD, totemic compulsion, sleep disorder. There we go. Yeah, that's all of them. So what are we looking at for Blair?
I
3.
think I'm gonna go depression.
That makes a lot of sense. Everything
Yeah.
is very terrible.
Blair, do you need an emotional Heimlich?
Yep.
You
So it's
need
a hug.
place. You need some Ben and Jerry's from Talbot's Ben and Jerry freezer.
Right next to the creepy crystal.
Right next to the.
I was gonna bury that.
Right next to the.
What?
Next to the pint of Ben and Jerry's that's just marked for whoever breaks up first.
Yep. So we have 3 very shaken agents who are doing great, just fine. I see no problem at all here. Yeah. Okay, and with that, then we're gonna click on the new breaking point for Cora Franny Talbot and for Blair. Because you can get more disorders, isn't it great? Yes, it's great.
Oh, I've got tons of breathing room with this. Yay!
Yeah,
I thought I just passed out at 50. This is nice.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all stable. It's all fine. Yeah.
We
DM.
have a limit
Yeah?
of how much we can gain back.
Handler.
Sorry, Handler. We
Yes.
go into the future because it appears we're in the year 3967.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I can't affect that. I don't know why it's doing that. It remains from that. I guess I can affect it. Okay, since you are... I don't
I don't actually care. I just noticed it was really confused for a moment. So I was trying to figure out what year it was.
Look, if Talbot's still doing this in 3967, I think we've got bigger problems.
This
I want to
is-
know. Your relationship with Cthulhu worked out after all.
that's in the timeline past 2380. It's like into Mega Traveler now.
Got two little
when
Cthulhu
is
kids.
when is
Cthulhu
Mega Traveler?
kindergarten.
Again? Mega Traveler is from. I don't remember. Oh, it's not the computer game. I don't remember what year Mega Traveler happens in. Classic sci-fi game, though. Amazing sci-fi game. You can literally die during character creation, Mega Traveler.
Bullshit. I'd be so mad.
It's true, though.
Look,
Anyway.
I just spent 3 hours in character creation. I would be so upset to just die on the spot.
Oops! Start over! Alright.
Wrong hair color.
Anyway, it's a new day. I think 4 agents are gonna wake up at 7 a.m. in the St. Louis hotel. Everybody is shaky. I don't know if Fenton, you have a new sleep disorder. Did you get to sleep tonight?
Let's find out. Let me close the
Yeah.
year. Hold on, there we go. I didn't.
Not at all. Fenton did not get good sleep, which means that you're not getting any willpower points back.
Okay, I don't think it's going to matter too much.
Talbot, please add a d6 willpower points to your sheet.
Got
Because
it.
you actually did get to sleep. You know that you are the one who saved everyone, and everybody depends on you, and you alone, right?
Of course they do. I'm literally the one that
course
called
I
out
do.
this.
I thought she was egotistic before.
As
Yeah.
far as I know, Talbot
ain't
is the
seen
leader,
nothing
and
yet,
we should all follow Talbot.
Yes, you should. You get it. You really do.
So from
'Cause
now
this
on,
dude... Sorry.
Talbot, if you lose 2 plus sanity point in any single roll, you get an acute episode in which every hint of doubt about your agent's superiority will fill you with indignation. That causes every use of a stat or skill to get help or make a good impression to fail. So if people try to help you, you'll automatically fail because you don't need any help from anyone. You are the master of your own destiny and of everyone else's. Wait, Talbot, are you becoming a new Ronald Valiant?
I would not
I'm
be
trying to fuck the
opposed.
unnatural. Of course I am. You've only caught on now?
I
I've
am
been
a
taking
slow
notes this
learner.
whole time.
I am a slow learner. Yeah.
What have we done?
Morgan's minion instincts are tingling as she found a new evil villain
No.
mastermind.
Morgan, Dad, Morgan, come here. Come
Yeah.
on. Come on,
I've got
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's espresso. Come
To
on.
become subordinate underneath.
Yes.
Oh my. Yeah, this is going
You
great,
get
you guys.
all the-
Z-Cell is
You get all the
fine,
Ben and
everybody.
Jerry's, except the
Zeke
pie.
is
my
fine.
brother.
Talbot, the queen of crabs.
First thing is that Handler is going to make you very disappointed by saying we're not jumping into a 5-month downtime. Instead, there is bureaucracy to be dealt with here in town because all the mopping up after the operation, right? You have to catalog all the evidence, you have to do all the bureaucratic paperwork. It's going to take some time.
We gotta have to bury the crystals too.
Yeah, I got
That is potentially a thing
Ah.
you might need to do. But I think the first thing you're going to want to do is to go into the conference room and meet with Gaston for a debriefing. He's going to be a bit curious about what you want to share with him, as it were.
Gaston, only a friendly, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's up to the. I'm sure we would have talked about this ahead of time, but I would say we only tell him that the threat that he called us in for has been eliminated.
Sounds good.
He doesn't need to know the rest of the supernatural.
Yep.
Gaston, he's gonna need more than just that. Though it starts as, it's a good start. Like, he's pleased with that. And it's definitely gonna take the entire morning for him to fill out the paperwork together with you so that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted in a good way to, let's face it, we're all covering things up here, aren't we? He does not want to know any supernatural details. As far as he's concerned, you said eliminated, but there's no body of Ronald Valiant, so how are we going to solve that problem? Now, how are we going to solve that problem? You said the prime suspect was destroyed, but we do not have a body.
Officially, Ronald Valiant is on the run as far as the public is concerned.
That is not the most satisfying conclusion, though, is it?
It's not, but it will also give us justification now to look further into analysis and maybe do actions to reduce their footprint and power.
He is in a state which does not leave a body, Mr. Gatsby.
So what you're saying is this ain't over yet.
No, it is over. We've just unbodied him, if that makes any sense.
He's not gonna ask. He just shakes his head.
We all just stare at Gaston.
Sighs deeply. Let me put it this way. If we had evidence that Mr. Valiant was dead in some capacity, if we had any bodily remains that we could show, anything that connects his blood top, anything that we could use to actually close the file so that it receives no further scrutiny, because otherwise we're sending the FBI and other potential federal agencies on a manhunt across the nation, which on the one hand is a waste of federal resources. See, he falls back into his old FBI special agent in charge mentality. On the other hand, I think people with your level of clearance would not appreciate the potential dangers of having the entire FBI trying to locate this man, even though it is a wild goose chase. So, is there anything else we can do to announce that we have located the body? Perhaps he was burned beyond recognition. Perhaps there's only a few body parts left of the suspect, some strands of hair, anything that would indicate that he is dead, but so few remains are there that it becomes more of an administrative issue, if you take my meaning. Dr. Blair here could obviously contribute with connecting the remains to the other bodily traces that we have of this individual.
It kind of goes twofold, though, because with him also being at large, we don't know how involved analysis is with other things. And it does give the agency now permission to put more scrutiny on analysis and maybe shut down their operations a bit more.
Gaston will notice this?
Which could be important in preventing future issues like this. If we carefully monitor the activities of the people such as yourself, then if something else pops up, then we can have individuals like us go in and take care of it before it becomes an issue.
And if you're truly desperate for a body, you can just dig up his dad, burn the arm, and say that's it.
I will admit, Agent Fenton, I was thinking more in terms of tying up loose ends, because in previous instances where I've been connected with people of your clearance, that has been a bit of a priority. But I'm going to trust your judgment on this. You have clearance that I do not have, which means that you have access to intelligence I do not have, and that is above my pay grade. So if you say you want to leave it open like that, I'll trust your judgment.
I will say this much. We have enough justification just to investigate analysis as is. If it would make life easier for you as well, and he would feel better, I'm fine with coming up with a dead... Oh, fuck, what's his name? I can never remember names in this game.
Valiant,
A dead bad guy. Valiant, yeah. I'm fine with that. We could also continue to pursue analysis without him being at large, if you want us to try and do... If that would make... You think that would make life easier? What does everyone else think we should do about this?
Yeah, he's gonna look to everyone else as well, because Gaston in this case will definitely take your lead.
Blair.
Sorry. Wait, sure. I don't know if we really have any DNA left over.
You have, first of all, DNA has not started being used yet. It's 1997, so it's not ubiquitous yet. But what you do have is a strand of blonde hair that was on a pair of pants at the party, the Daniels' party, which had enough biological evidence on it to ascertain the blood type of the individual wearing it, which was, that's how you connected it to Valiant.
Oh.
You also have a
I
partial
had an
fingerprint
idea.
on the dead girl's neck that is connected to Valiant. Though that is no biological matter as such. In the modern day, you can actually lift some DNA from fingerprints because it's like fat excretions, but you don't know about that because that's 30 years in the future. It's 5 or 6 years in the future because it can't be 30 years ago, this story. I feel old.
You could try, I don't know, we have access to his apartment. Just take some samples from there. Hair and fingerprints should be everywhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The apartment with his shower, his restroom, just a hairbrush will be absolutely filled with his hair.
So Blair, I guess it comes down to, do you think we should close the case out as far as he's concerned, or try to use him to launch our own kind of war, per se, against, not war, but our own thing against Nemesis? How do you feel?
Is there anything else to do with Nemesis? Was he the main guy, or was he not the actual owner?
He wasn't, if I remember, he was the owner of the local branch. There were people above him, but he did mention that Nemesis had tried to stop him. So clearly there are other people in Nemesis with knowledge of the unnatural. We can say that in front of
To refresh anyone's memory, including the audience, the Analysis headquarters in St. Louis, that is the chapter for Analysis members in St. Louis. But Analysis as a foundation exists all across the U.S., and the headquarters is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And you know this because you've looked up the paperwork for Analysis, and you've read the book, Fenton particularly, which the book that came out from the founder of Analysis. And you've seen the poster in the St. Louis Analysis headquarters where you had Doug Walters together with Gene Downing, who is the living power of Analysis, which is the top leader of Analysis in the U.S. Yeah, and he is based in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If Valiant is right and Analysis is run by aliens, I think you guys might have your work cut out for you beyond St. Louis. Though I think you have shut down the St. Louis branch very effectively. Probably.
Oh, so many people. 12 people.
Yeah, there's still 50 who are technically members of Analysis because Analysis has not been dissolved as a chapter in St. Louis yet. Which is because all of them are right now in St. Louis General Hospital under observation for another 24 hours because of their strange coma. Much Talbot and Fenton before them. Sarah and Diane, the two young ladies who guided you to become members of Analysis, Talbot and Fenton, are among the living. They survived this whole ordeal. They're probably traumatized. How much have you told Gaston about the potential that the strange dimensions of the case might extend to Tulsa, to Analysis as a whole? I think you just mentioned that to him, right? Because you wanted to keep the file open in case.
Yeah, I think we at least mentioned that we have reason to suspect that Analysis at large may have some kind of involvement in this. I don't know how much we would have actually told him on the details.
That makes sense.
good to keep it open then, to try to look into that large group.
What do you think, Talbot?
I think we should keep the investigation open, because analysis, we don't know how far Valiant's influence spread. It could be just this chapter, he may have influenced other chapters. So I think we need to keep our eyes open and keep the case open.
What do you think, Morgan? What's your opinion?
I'm supposed to have one of those? Oh, yeah.
You are a
Forgot.
valued member of this team, and your decisions and opinions are valued.
Okay, I think we're fine for now. Just burn them crystals and be done with it.
It sounds like Talbot, Blair, and I want to keep the thing open for now. At least look
Good
further
idea.
into signals. But we can definitely, and I think we should, destroy as much of the local shite as we can.
Agreed. Speaking of which, I think we have a crystal
In the green box that we need to bury.
Indeed, though, about that, the crystals by themselves might not, like just alone, might not be dangerous. We don't know. It seems we did some tests while you were gone. Well, we can discuss this more detail when other company isn't present.
Since we seem to have wrapped things up with Gaston after this morning, he's gonna excuse himself and allow you to do your work. But it's not gonna be a long time. Go ahead, let's have you discuss. Because there's a green box, right? And you still have access to it. And supposedly you're to give Gaston the key back once you're done with the green box.
Yeah. I was just going to suggest that, or not suggest, Phil, when we took the crystals and that diamond saw, or whatever it was, or diamond cutter, we were able to cut them into pieces without any negative reactions. So it seems like the crystals themselves are some kind of conduit. So maybe they pull energy in or expel energy, but you still need somebody to activate them to do so. Just by itself, it may not be dangerous. Which means we may be able to just simply break the thing up even more and toss it away.
I'm just worried because if it stores energy, it could also be storing potential energy.
That is a concern, and we had a long discussion about this, and if we all still want to, we can continue with the plan to bury it where no one else can find it.
We should bury them.
Yep.
As for everything else we've recovered, to Morgan's point of a burnt, scorched earth and all that, I feel we definitely burn the alien porno. That's
Yeah.
that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
I volunteer
Yeah.
to burn all of the porno.
We'll leave
I
some.
don't want to see anything like that again.
We have to leave a lot of it because if we just go burning his entire porn collection now, our bosses are going to know why we saw the need to burn his entire porn collection.
Yeah, there's going to be
Look.
so many questions about tampering with evidence at that point. Some of it has
If
to
we-
go into the FBI files, definitely.
If one VHS that nobody but us knows about disappears, then we're golden.
Yeah, you can burn like the the VHS tape marked X, which was the horrifying one that too many of you watched. If you want to keep the To the World tape, as far as the rest of the world would be considered, it's just evidence that he is an absolute lunatic. So it might
That's the
actually
way
help your case.
That's the way I was thinking about it. That, for one, disproves him. It discredits anything he has to say. History Channel in 5 years from now is going to have a whole big...
Yes.
So, I think that one we can allow to go out. No one's going to take that serious. But it is good for Delta Green to be knowledgeable of what he suspects. He clearly knew a
So-
few things.
We should definitely get rid of the unholy one, right?
Yeah.
The one with the alien intercourse.
Yeah.
That's not gonna go too well in front of the eyes of the media.
Yeah,
I'd say we have a second bonfire.
yeah.
Yep.
Roast
It's,
some marshmallows.
It's probably
I'm not eating those marshmallows.
It's probably not a major deal, but we could probably go ahead and just burn the sticky books. We never officially entered them into the evidence, so nobody except us knows they exist or were taken from the place. I mean, we've already...
I could probably just drive those up to West Virginia and burn them there. It's the middle of nowhere. No one's going to question a random fire.
We just burn them when we burn the VHS tape. Fuels the bonfire.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that we could do it out of the way up there.
Yeah,
I
no.
could do it out of the way up there.
That's fine. We'll take a camping trip. It'll be fun. And then we have all the many items that took and never officially added into evidence. I would say either drop them in a lake and never think about them again, or leave them in the green box in case other agents in the future have need for a set of monetary that is...
I'm sorry, the mini what?
So we took all of his different gems and crystals and stuff that he used for all his different practices. Not just the analysis crystals, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, some of them are
Okay.
worth something, and some of them are just new age stuff that is probably worth something to a collector. But yeah, if you go to I do believe that rubies and emeralds are like supposedly power stone. But I don't know enough about myself.
I guess we've got three options. I guess we can get rid of them and never have to think about them again, and all the sticky magic they were used to do. We could keep some of them for ourselves as okay, we're in the field, we need money, this is money, and we can leave the rest in the green box for other Delta Green agents for the same.
Quick question is, the money we get from that, is that going to buy us what we want? Because last I checked, I can't buy a flamethrower from a Hobby Lobby.
Maybe more pawning and maybe street trading and stuff like that, like under the books kind of stuff.
I know, that's what I'm getting at. We have the money, but we can't use that money to unofficially buy what we need. A lot of that stuff is locked behind clearance and bureaucracy.
Oh, well, there is always a black market, Talbot. Why is the handler
does it still
intervening?
quality? That's my question.
Let's say we're in Chicago or something, right? And we want to buy a small armory's worth of stuff. We can go pawn the gems and then go to the gun dealer in cash. Or go see old O'Malley in his special gun shop, which only accepts cash.
But are they going to sell the feds? That's the question.
So we introduce ourselves as feds. For one, if we go to an official gun store, that won't be a problem. And if we go to O'Malley's gun shop, he's not going to run background checks on us.
Okay, I'll take your word on it. You seem
I mean,
to
it's not
really
perfect.
know a lot about this.
It's not a perfect solution, but it's just something that could help us. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, my only concern is, what if, like, the previous crystals, it gives us nightmares?
And if that's... Yeah, that's a concern. And if you're worried about that, I'm also happy with just dumping them in the ocean.
Yeah, I'm not willing to let greed be my downfall today.
Morgan, your very special cell phone rings.
What? Pick it up.
Yep.
Yeah, who is it?
You will hear garbled voice. This is Agent Adam.
Yes?
Agent Zana, Z-Cell, meet me at the train station in an hour.
Understood.
Click.
I assume we're all just staring at Morgan now.
Can we come too?
I think some guy from ASO wants us to meet. but at the train station, in an hour. Agent Adam, I believe.
Are they here to apologize for hanging up on Fenton? Are they?
Why are you asking me that? They didn't say anything about that.
What were you gonna say, Darian?
I'll just say, is ASAL themselves here?
So they said meet an Agent Adam at the train station in an hour.
That's a bit of a concern.
Seems like somebody from ASAL, so.
Yeah, Adam is. We've talked to him before. He's definitely with ASAL.
I mean, his name is Adam.
Alright, so we going?
Yeah, he's our boss.
Alright. Maybe we don't blow off Delta Green.
To the train station we go.
Very well.
While we're on our way there, we should discuss what we're telling them.
We like it, Z-Cell. Yeah, just a few
You
lies
guys-
to your superiors.
You guys, I say mostly looking at Talbot, don't trust them with the crystal. So maybe we leave out our plans to bury the crystal.
Yeah.
As for everything else, Aziz showed up.
Just say we're destroying them.
We don't tell him that Alziz showed up.
Actually, we should tell him Aziz showed up. But does that matter? The guy showed up other operations twice before.
They've told us not to interact with him, though.
We didn't. He showed up, he snapped his fingers, and then the bad guy was gone. None of us interacted with him. Did any of us interact with him, Talbots?
No, none of us did. Nope. I did not. I definitely did not call Corso and ask him pretty please to send his hot best friend, but yeah, no. None of us did anything bad.
So that whole car is just staring at Talbot.
Keep driving. Yeah, nothing bad happened, no. What are you talking about?
It's all fine.
We should discuss this later, but for now, Alziz just showed up out of the blue without any prompting or deals.
Hey, I did not deal with him, okay? We never discussed payment.
Oh, great. So you made a deal with the devil and gave him a blank check.
No, I did not give him a blank check. We're supposed to negotiate on it over tea later.
Oh.
I'll figure this out, okay? Don't be worried about me. It's supposed to be the other way around, okay? I know what I'm doing.
Don't mind me saying, Talbot, I don't think you know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing at any time. You tried to hug the ooey gooey, okay?
Yeah, the creature that was going to try and go down the stairs and just again after all that.
And you tried to wrestle it when it has
just
no
no.
bones.
Not all of us had a fucking crystal in our pockets. Bullets were working. So mean.
Because I can be. Because I was raised by my father.
Want to talk about it?
No, actually, for no reason. I just like being mean.
You're gonna arrive at the train station, and this time it's gonna be Fenton's phone that rings.
This is before they have the technology to listen to our phones, right?
Oh my god.
1997. It's gonna be hard to listen to cell phones in 1997. Not impossible, but yeah. Eventually, you'll know how to go burner. And fun story: if you want to be super secret in 2025, you use typewriters and snail mail, I guess, because everything electronic is easily available. dead drops. Anyway, you're gonna hear the voice from Agent Adam. He's gonna instruct you to go take the next empty table at the cafe.
All right. I hope there's only one cafe at the train station.
He's gonna tell you the name of the cafe, obviously.
Okay.
I don't know the names of cafes at the St. Louis train station. Gee, I should have done my research. I hang my head in shame.
This is the you. Not your asshole players.
Alright, so you're gonna go and sit down there, I take it. When you're sitting down there, and the waitress is gonna come up and take your orders. It's just about lunch, so it's a nice time to get a Subway or some kind of good sturdy sandwich or what have you. Salad, perhaps. But man sitting next to you, or no, at the table, at the other table, he's sitting with his back towards you, but he's gonna say, "I'm Agent Adam. Pleased to meet you, finally, in person." But he's definitely not looking at any of you. He's looking away from you. He has a ball cap, like a windbreaker that is not, it's unmarked. It's in some kind of dark blue material. He's wearing shades. Yeah. So, agents, I understand you've been busy these last few days. Feel free to give a more full report.
He's asking us to debrief him here at the cafe.
Yep. Perfect place to. It's gonna be, you're gonna be, you can talk. There's so much other noise going on that it's gonna be very difficult to listen into you. It's basically hiding in plain sight.
Unless anyone has objections, I guess we'll tell him what we planned on. Debrief him with what we discovered, what we found, Hope's dead, what we learned about the creature, the encounter with, what's his face? Whose name of, oh god, I'm so bad at this. Whose name I forgot again.
Valiant.
Valiant, yeah. The encounter with Valiant, his floating, my phone. And then at the 11th hour, Ulz's once again showed up and disappeared with Valiant.
You are leaving... No, Fenton isn't leaving anything out because Fenton doesn't know, right?
Nope.
Or does he know? Are we leaving anything out? Are we lying by omission? What is the strategy here?
The other line of omission would be that as far as the crystal is concerned, we've handled it and we're taking it upon ourselves to destroy the last of it stuff, which is true for the most part. And then involvement with all this, he doesn't really know enough about that, so he's not going to mention anything that Talbot had anything.
Which is a lie by omission, isn't it?
Yeah, he only just confirmed his suspicions that she had something to do with it.
Why don't you roll a persuade check to not come across as very nervous today, Fenton? Or if you are doing the thing, who is doing the debrief here? It sounds like Fenton is doing the presentation.
Any of you can do it.
Who has the highest persuade?
Not Fenton, maybe Fenton. I got 42. It's probably not Fenton.
I've got 55. Anybody have higher?
Nope.
Morgan?
Morgan has a 40.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna lie, that's higher than I expected it to be.
What's that supposed to mean?
I love Morgan. She's not the biggest people person.
Oh, okay. So I guess I'm doing the debrief?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Fine.
If they rolled lower than you or a critical success, they will have caught you in the lie. But 13% is a very good roll, so maybe Talbot gets away with it this time. Who knows? So, yeah, this is then, you're going to call yourself Zona, of course, during the presentation. And Adam is listening, nodding, You're gonna basically Talbot is gonna be sitting back to back with Adam because it's easier for him to hear that way. And Fenton, Blair, and Morgan are sitting around the table and having your coffee and maybe filling in a detail or two during this debrief, which is going to be quite extensive in a sense. He's gonna ask you some details about the case, such as the details around... He's not gonna name names necessarily. He's not gonna say unnatural things. He's gonna say unidentified objects or unidentified subject or that sort of thing. Anomaly is also a thing he will use, a word he will use, anomaly. So when you talk about hope, for example, that's going to be referred to as an anomalous suspect. And he's asking about your timeline, he's asking about contacts you've made, he's asking about artifacts you might have recovered. You tell him about the plan for the crystal, and he's going to nod and approve. That's good. Yes, we need those removed from public access at the very least. If they are dangerous to destroy, then, well, they'll have to be put in some kind of stasis for now. This is not... It's not uncommon for anomalous objects to have an unknown status like that. He's going to ask you about phenomena that defy physics and biology in some detail. I think
Like
Dr.
that
Blair
fucking
can...
flying?
What was that?
At that fucking flying?
Yes,
Yeah.
like that. And of course, Blair's autopsies, like the whole things you saw there. He's also going to ask, what do you believe was the true objective of Walters or Analysis?
I think, if I'm allowed to say something,
Of course.
I think that Walters was seeking to be some kind of god to ascend, so to speak. It seemed like he was, at this point, pretty rogue and independent from Analysis as a whole. He even mentioned that Analysis tried to stop him, and he put them in their place, or something along those lines.
This
It's
puts
quite a-
us in an interesting situation. On the one hand, it's entirely possible that this subject simply cracked. That his interaction with these phenomena were too much for his mind to bear, and he became delusional. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that his mind was poorly affected because he is actually right about this organization. Because it has been co-opted by foreign interference.
That's a good thing on what he said, and how just rough we're all looking, and the fact that he has been having horrible sleeping, and go, the more we understand this, the more deranged it gets, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Putting that together, finally.
You'll just hear that very tired, very 1,000 yards. You hear the 1,000-yard stare in his voice when he says, yeah.
And how does all this end? When we're all raving? What's his face? Or... I'm gonna write that name down. I can't keep doing this all night. Valiant, Jesus Christ.
It's hard to remember the main baddie of an entire...
What's wrong with me?
Some of us end up that way. He says. For what it's worth, I've been in this for a while now. More than a decade.
Did you
And
have
I'm
to do
still here.
ops?
What was that?
Did you have to do 2 ops a year?
Hopefully not.
Did it get better?
The organization is, at this stage, I'm sure you've already noticed, desperately under-resourced and understaffed. A cell is strictly working with coordination and analysis to determine what the next stop will be and what cell goes there.
I don't suppose we could ask for a bit of a break.
That depends. We need to ascertain whether the organization you've been investigating here in St. Louis is implicated on a wider scale. But I'm going to talk to Special Agent in charge, Gaston, and give you at least a couple of days off, because you definitely earned it. You shut down an immediate threat here in St. Louis. We wish the body count could have been lower, but at least the body count wasn't higher. Small mercies, after all. And, most importantly, the immediate perpetrator of that threat is no more.
Yes.
So you've done your
And
job.
what about Alziz? You clearly know more about him than we do. He's shown up at 3 of our operations now. And I'm starting to get it's no longer just a feeling. He's one of these
Yeah, that's all I can say for now. We have another cell working on that. Need to know basis.
He keeps following us around. Are we the only cell he's seemingly attached to? Or
Need to know basis.
in my mind. I guess, can you answer this much? Just how dangerous is he to us? Because he keeps showing up around us. I think it's unfair. We should know what to expect with his involvement.
He is, I would assess, very high on the threat level. I can't share much about his capacities because, frankly, the limits of his capacities are unknown to us.
And his motivations?
Also unknown. I would say the motivations will be in some way similar to that of the subject you have eliminated here in St. Louis.
I did. Then, if nobody else has anything to ask, I guess be seeing you.
During this entire conversation, you will have noticed that Adam is paying a lot of attention to your answers. Anytime you are starting to hesitate about what happens, he will want exact precision in your response. It's not like around 8:30 the ambush began. He will want 8:33, and he'll go to that length for every little event you're talking about. So he's very meticulous in terms of numbers and details that you can recall. So yeah. Again, Z-Cell, Zosimus, we got your call during the incident.
I wasn't sure we were going to make it, so I wanted to let you know everything we could so the next group had a chance.
I appreciate that level of dedication, Zosimus. This is why we gave you the clearance. It is not an easy job, this. Few in the entire world has this level of clearance. We're talking about less than 100 individuals in the entire country. Needless to say, there are more incidents occurring that are suspicious in nature that we can cover. We'll just have to do the best we can with what we got. Stay here on location and help Special Agent in charge, your immediate superior, with a cleanup. We will make sure that you can get back to your non-classified activities as soon as possible, unless, of course, we get confirmation that this is bigger than St. Louis. I suppose the upshot is, if it is bigger than St. Louis, perhaps we can pave the way for you a little bit, wherever the next thing might happen. I will say, this is not the first time our organization have run up against a hostile organization. It won't be the last either. What we do is not always a bug hunt. Sometimes we meet organized resistance, and we have to be ready to deal with that. You haven't seen any black hats and mirror shades lately, have you?
No.
Not black hats and mirror shades, but the very beginning, when we were investigating the Colonel's mansion, there were some Air Force guys. Last time we encountered some Air Force guys, that gruff, they were part of the supposed opposition that the person who brought us into this whole organization warned us about.
Yeah, they're still out there. That's one of
Who
the
are
reasons. Who are they?
Last time we asked, we were just told that they're the other side, more or less.
I'll tell you this much, you've earned it. They have co-opted the highest levels of the national security complex. They have an unhealthy interest in the phenomena that we are stopping. Unlike us, they think they can use the phenomena for their own benefit to strengthen themselves or the organizations they lead. That never works. These phenomena always break you eventually. The phenomena, some few of us have been able to study the phenomena without cracking. Like Agent Alphonse. I'll introduce you to him one day. He's the oldest of us. He's been around since the war. But our policies, particularly for new agents like yourself, is destroy the phenomena. Don't try to meddle with them, because they will meddle back. You have to be
Understood.
highly experienced to know when to try to understand the phenomena and when to just destroy them. The code name for this group, he's actually gonna slip Talbot a piece of paper, napkin. Burn that, he says.
Understood.
And the paper, the napkin, has one word written on it in capital letters.
What does it say?
I just put it in Foundry.
Oh, yay. Oh, that's pretty. Okay.
That's what I thought.
What did you think?
I know some of the mythos. I thought that's who those were.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you. Nice to know you think so highly of us.
I don't want to spoil things, because that's no fun.
I wasn't talking to you. Never mind. I shouldn't be mean.
Adam will say, if they were there, which they likely were, we have to assume it at least, then they might have eyes on this organization too. And what's worse is, they might even be supporting it in various capacities. So if we have to keep developing this particular thread, we might have more than that organization to worry about. It might have allies very high up.
And do we have any allies?
Just ourselves.
That's really a shame.
Then I told you we'd short-staffed.
And get taller staff.
Every time
My
we,
shoulder.
every time we recruit someone new, there's a risk for exposure. Secrecy is our strongest asset. Alright, you have my number. I'll probably be in town for a few more days. Be seeing you.
Be seeing you.
Yeah, the man in question, he's... I guess all you can tell from just looking at him is that he is tall, the back of him, as it were. He is tall, like very tall. He's scrunching over a little bit, but he's definitely at least 6 foot, possibly 6 foot 1 or 2. And pretty muscular. He's fit. He's definitely physically fit. But other than that, he's keeping his... He does seem to have, I guess, neck-long brown hair. And he has a bowl cap on as he's leaving. He's actually walking in, like, training pants and, like, sneakers. In other words, he looks very nondescript for someone at a train station. So, if anyone needed an example of tradecraft, you just got it.
We walk around with a dodgeball with a hat on it. We're clearly not federal agents.
Clearly not.
We are, at best, a group of college friends that lost it many years ago.
That makes sense. By the time you're going to leave that cafe, it's probably going to be something like mid-afternoon, 2-ish in the afternoon. And yeah, you're apparently off for some R&R, or like rest and recovery at the very least. Not necessarily on vacation, but it also makes sense because, let's face it, Talbot is really hurt, and Blair is really hurt, and Fenton is also really hurt. So you could all use some recovery, right? Is anyone going to check themselves into a hospital, or are we just
No, I think
doing...
we can take a hospital right now.
What was that?
Should we go to a campfire this night and then...
If you don't
There's
go
a
to the
hospital.
hospital, I will drag you there personally.
No, we need to go to the hospital, especially
Well,
some other people, I say, poking Talbot again.
Can I hit him again, please?
The thing with the hospital is it takes a week for them to treat you perfectly, so we'll see how that works. But at least this night, you're going to be out by a campfire and chilling out, right?
Yeah, should we destroy everything?
This campfire is in St. Louis, right?
Sure.
Or is it in West Virginia?
Or around.
We drive outside of the area, I think. Well, why, did you want to drive to West Virginia? He told us to
No,
stay
no.
local.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'd mentioned earlier that we might want to do that in West Virginia where it's very rural. So I was like, man, did we really drive out there that quickly? But no, I was just trying to figure out where we were on the map.
Yeah, no, if that's... So you will, in fact, get... Here's the good news. You get... If you are able to rest in a safe place with proper food and water, you can attempt a constitution test once per day to recover a hit point. And if you roll a crit, you actually recover a d4. So that's good. But if you're gonna travel by car to West Virginia from Missouri, I have a feeling we're gonna have to not be resting for today. But if you're going out camping for a couple of days, I'm gonna definitely allow you to rest and recover, because that is definitely conducive to feeling better.
If nothing else, so that we could destroy the books and the porno and dump the various gems in a really deep lake or something, and then hold on to the main crystal, find somewhere more away from a city center in West Virginia.
Sure. I know a nice rural town we could bury stuff in. People don't go looking there a lot.
Okay, sounds to me like we're actually going to West Virginia.
No, that's not. We're gonna do that at a later date. Tonight we're just gonna
Okay.
destroy
Okay, yeah.
tonight's a bonfire just for the other stuff, like the books, the porno, and pretty much it. Because all the other Nolsis crystals, I mean, I guess we took a bunch of them, but I don't know. There's only one crystal we know that's been charged, right? So to speak.
Yeah.
As far as...
So, the rest were kind of minute. Or in it, whatever the fuck the word is. Anyway, we're staying real cool and having a campfire to destroy the other stuff.
Yep, campfire time. All right, my friends. I'm not going to count the morning's paperwork exercise, though. It was some work, but in total today, I think you've earned a rest and recuperation roll, as it were. So, towards the end of the day, when you have burned things on a campfire, in a campfire, on a campfire, whatever the case might be, why don't you roll a constitution check? Let's see if you're gonna recover some hit points. Like, at least one each, or so.
Necessarily have to do that, because I'm full.
You don't have to do that, this is true. But everybody else. Fenton is unlucky today.
Fenton's having a bad couple of days, man.
Yeah, clearly. Alright, that means that Blair and Talbot actually do recover a hit point. Feels slightly better. Are we just going out camping and sleeping in tents for the night? And just enjoying some R&R?
I guess I'm fine with that if everybody else is.
Oh yeah.
That would make sense. Yep. Alright.
Talbot, you want to invite your new boyfriend?
Yeah, I would.
Should we have that talk tonight, actually, while we're all out in the middle of nowhere around a campfire?
We're not in Appalachia, right? Yeah, we can talk about this.
Talbot, what exactly did you do?
I called Orso because A-Cell, as I've learned, does not pick up or actually send any backup, and he seemed like the best possible option. And since y'all were getting your asses kicked, I was like, hey, can you send Alziz, because he seems to know what he's doing. And then, of course, I got thrown into a fucking wall, and next thing I know, when I wake up, is Alziz standing there with a smug little grin, going, problem solved.
So he just showed up out of the kindness of his heart and his sake of friendship towards you. You didn't offer him anything. You didn't promise him anything. Him saying, I accept your offer, was just him being all goofy.
I said, so long as he didn't hurt my friends, we would negotiate payment.
I see.
So, don't go all, oh, you sold your soul. I know what I'm doing. And I didn't do it because I was selfish, okay?
I think you did it on selfishness, but some of the stories that we've talked about when you were learning more of the esoteric stuff in my studies, remember how many people thinking they were doing the right thing were just trying to help that ended up damning themselves. Just be wary is all.
I don't
Especially
care about
now.
damning myself. I don't care about damning myself, and I think that's the detail you keep forgetting.
No.
The conversation ender, if ever I've heard one.
Hashtag dang. Are we having 4 agents just sitting on the chairs here? It's not going to be a particularly warm day out here. What is it? You're going to have, let's say, degrees in their 50s. It's warming up a bit from the cold front that was moving through. But that doesn't mean that it's a nice and warm day or an evening. There's still going to be like plumes of smoke coming out of your mouth as you're sitting around the campfire. And we have 4 agents sitting in their various lawn chairs, and I don't know, there may or may not be copious amounts of alcohol involved, but I think there's copious amounts of staring involved at the very least, right? Into the fire. As you feel the smell of burning, whatever evidence it was you actually were burning.
What does burning alien porn smell like? Please describe it.
In this
Don't,
case,
actually.
it's a lot of plastic. Yeah, a lot of plastics is what it smells like. Yeah, which is not a very nice smell. And of course, because it's the curse of the campfire, wherever you sit, Fenton, the smoke is gonna come to where the wind is shifting directly to blow it into your face. So if you change
what
to a
I've
different
learned.
chair, it's just gonna follow you around. Because that's
What
what.
I've learned. Camping is overrated. I could have a perfectly good time in my backyard and go inside once. When I had a yard, I don't have a yard anymore.
Oh, Fenton, let's roll to see if you sleep well tonight. Oh my god, you have no luck at all with the whole sleeping business, do you? Poor Fenton, he is in serious need of some consultations, let's just say. There is no consequence for a critical failure, but you will wake up screaming in the middle of the night more than once, and I'm sure the rest of the group will hear this too.
After the second or third time, I'm just gonna take my sleeping bag and tent and go out in the woods, my own little, and not disturb them.
I just moved to a midway point because Talbot grew up in Appalachia and she does not trust the woods.
That makes sense too. The New Jersey Devil might be out there, or something else big that is
The Mothman might steal our catalytic
the
converter.
Mothman. Yes, there's so many different myths.
From their point of view, they're here screaming multiple times throughout the night and wake up, Talbot, it's just gone.
Yeah, Fenton like cold sweat and so on as he's waking up. Statistically speaking, you should have gotten a good night's sleep by now. You should get 2 out of 3 good night sleeps, but so far no.
I have a success in it.
Talbot, why don't you roll a d6 to recover some willpower points? Again.
Really? I thought I didn't. I thought I didn't sleep.
Oh, no, you get to sleep. It's just
Okay.
Fenton who doesn't sleep properly. You get decent sleep. You have a disorder that affects you differently.
Oh no, I just thought him screaming kept waking us up.
Maybe once or twice, but not enough to disrupt your regaining. You just know enough about poor old Fenton for the entire group now to know that he's not doing well.
Yeah, who needs an alarm clock when you have him?
He is not regular enough for an alarm clock, to be honest.
Free
My traumas amuse you?
Look, there has been a yapping dog outside my window for the past few days, and currently, this is kind of reminding me of that.
But
yes,
remove a bond with Talbot and increase it with Blair.
You don't have, but you do have one to remove. I don't.
Let's see now. Psychotherapy. Use it to identify a mental disorder, help a patient recover, talk someone down when a disorder begins to take over, and treat mental illness in the long term. So, yeah, let's see. 67. Let's see how much Blair might be able to help you here with.
Oh, psychotherapy.
Because you have psychotherapy, right? So perhaps you might be able to,
Not if she critically succeeds.
After a
with
mission,
it.
your agent can attempt to recuperate with professional help or by focusing on his or her bonds. Yeah, but we're not at home right now, so that's not going to
But I am with a bond.
Oh, was that?
I am with a bond. I am with a bond. I'm bonded to Blair.
You are, yeah. But you need to be at home for
Fair
proper psychotherapy. So this is not going to be enough for a person. This is not enough time yet for a personal pursuit. I'm just saying.
No problem. Understand.
So what are we planning to do today? This Thursday? No, it's Friday. I don't know why it's that. We have two different dates on but the calendar I'm using now is saying Friday, April 4th, 1997. And yeah, sun is up bright and early, and apparently your bosses have no particular use for you.
Ow.
True.
No, you're being ordered to recover and just take a few days off because
Just put it that way though.
yeah, it's not suspension without pay. It's just an ordered recovery period basically.
So, hospital.
You should be in a hospital. Yes, you should check yourselves into a hospital. That's what you should be doing. Now that you've burned all the evidence, clearly that's what we're doing.
Oh,
Yeah, I can take the crystals out to West Virginia later when I'm out of the hospital.
That's fair. Alright, so we're going to the hospital instead. Not all of you are going to be in the hospital, clearly. But checked in. Because Morrigan is fine, right?
oh yeah, I'm nice and dead.
You're nice and dandy, but Blair, Fenton, and Talbot will all get a bed each at the hospital. And
And I will be there watching,
And yeah, you can be there watching. You're sleeping in your...
making sure no one leaves.
Making sure no one leaves, because they need to have their proper treatment.
So we got thrashed around like toys. He just put Morgan in some nice bullshit.
Morgan is staying in the hotel and everything is nice and cozy. You can order in. You can sleep in the hotel and order in, or go down to the hotel restaurant and have some nice meals there, Morgan. How much wine and champagne or other hard spirits will be consumed by Morgan during these couple of days?
Morgan does not drink unless it is 20 shots of espresso.
Very well. So all the espresso Morgan ever wanted are going to be like lined up in the hotel room or down by the hotel bar if you require that. So
I know, I'm just really sitting in
gonna,
a chair
he's going to
in
be
a hospital
shaking.
room,
Yeah.
calmly sipping from my coffee cup,
I'm
saying nothing.
And the three agents, I guess you could all share a room, or you have different rooms. You have good enough insurance to have different rooms, probably, through the feds, if nothing else. I guess. I don't know how good insurance you get with the feds, but I bet it's pretty good, because...
You get hurt on the job, you get damn good insurance.
Slumber party.
So...
Benson actually, out of politeness to the rest of the group, is going to probably get his own room under heavy sedation.
Yeah, that's what me now.
Under heavy sedation, there we go.
Sleep, not because of Talbot. I do want to let Laura know that obviously I'm in the hospital and catch up with her.
Why don't you, the three of you, roll a constitution check? Let's see how many hit points you recovered this day.
Critical failure, here we go.
Hanging out in
Oh
the
no.
hospital and just doing all the shenanigans that this cell is known for. Alex Blair rolls a critical success. Roll a d4 to recover hit points, Alex Blair.
Nice.
3 hit points for you. You're almost completely fine now. It tracks that the doctor would be the one to recover the most in a hospital, right? And Fenton will get a hit point back as well. You're just chilling, playing with Zed, obviously. Having long conversations with Zed, chatting with Morgan, all the things.
I just refuse to stay in bed. I think that's what happened.
That makes sense. I can believe that. You know what, Fenton? If you need something to sleep tonight, they can prescribe something for you to sleep tonight, so you can recover willpower points, because
I
you're
thought
in
it
a
was going to be
hospital.
alive. They're going to sedate the fuck out of me.
Yes, they will sedate you, so you get a d6 willpower points back, because you are literally in a hospital. Whoa!
Yay.
You get 2 willpower points back. You're almost back to half. How does it feel?
Fenton is just thinking about how much more fun this used to be when all this shit was theory in myth and folklore.
That makes sense. Talbot, why don't you roll a d6 to recover some willpower points too? You're completely recovered! You feel so fresh now in your mind. You have, yeah, you're ready to take on the world, except, ow, that little, you're still so sore from bruises. Mentally, you're ready to go. Alert and everything. This is gonna be great.
So long as Fenton isn't around to poke my ribs, I can do just about anything. In fact, it's not delusions of grandeur if I can actually do it.
Exactly. That's what we think here. Unfortunately, on the Saturday is when things take a turn, don't they? Yep, they sure do. It wasn't, yeah. Enosis has made national news because of the whole thing, and you've been able to follow anytime. If you wanted to look at CNN or any of the major news channels during your stay in the hospital, remote control was right there, and you could watch. There's also a new channel called Fox News that has completely unbiased news. And yeah, so if you wanted to follow the reporting from the Enosis case, because they're trying to follow up on leads, and there's going to be like long features with panels talking about cult behavior, and there's going to be people saying, oh, but people in the streets going, oh, but they have a point, we can't trust the federal government, this is probably just a big conspiracy and a cover-up, and so on and so forth. And there are religious freedoms in this country, this is like a constitutional right, and they're being harassed. Remember Waco, damn it. And others are like, yeah, they're just not a bunch of loonies, nutballs. So clearly, it's entirely possible that the feds have actually made available the tape of Ronald Valiant doing weird rants about aliens in Enosis just to cover their own backs and make sure that nobody actually believes in Enosis. But let's just say that Enosis itself is not going to remain completely quiet in this. In fact, there's a press conference. And the major news organizations are carrying the feed. You've seen that news organizations have tried to get to Enosis in Tulsa and never been allowed to enter. It's private property, after all. So this is your first real view of Gene Downing, isn't it? The living power. Look at him. He seems like a perfectly nice guy, doesn't he?
His eyes are concerningly green. I don't trust him.
He's standing there in his robes. Very telegenic. My name is... He's gonna make a statement on TV. He's not appearing at any outside the compound. He's not appearing in any TV studio. He has recorded something and released it to the public. The recent events in St. Louis, Missouri, has filled us with a great deal of grief here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is clear to me that a single member of our foundation had severe mental health problems. And unfortunately, in his delusions, committed unspeakable acts against the public in ways that the Analysis Foundation has never condoned, encouraged in any way. We are a group of people who are seeking our own inner light and to share that light with the world, to make it a more peaceful place. Violence and atrocities such as these are anathema to our basic and fundamental tenets. At the same time, we have to express our outrage over how federal authorities have behaved in relation to analysis in St. Louis. Perhaps if they were to take our constitutionally protected religious freedoms more seriously, this tragedy could have been avoided. It is only recently that the Federal Bureau of Investigation intruded on another group of independent thinkers in Waco, Texas. And we all remember the Ruby Ridge incident. There is clearly an erosion of the First Amendment and an expansion of the government's use of force, which should be deeply concerning to every American. Even though you might not share our beliefs, we all have the same rights in this country. That is supposedly a beacon of freedom. The recent tragedy is just the latest in a number of portents, really. We're moving unsteadily into a new age, and it will not be an easy transition. All of us are no doubt aware of the many problems the world faces. Things are degenerating at an ever-increasing rate. Societies are crumbling beneath the blows of vice and selfishness. We here at Analysis have worked for years to slow and hopefully reverse this process through our metaphysical meditations and procedures. Unfortunately, it is too late. The new age is upon us. Those who are ready for it will survive and prevail and find a new level of inner peace and satisfaction. Those who aren't ready will not. In the immediate future, there will come a sign. We have foreseen this. I do not know what the nature of it will be, but all of humanity will understand it when it happens. Please understand, I don't mean to say that I am the Messiah. I am not a fanatic, as the federal government would make me out to be after the events in St. Louis. I'm just a human being who's found peace and understanding. The time ahead will be full of turmoils. Our members across the globe are ready to help you through this time. Trust them, but trust in yourselves as well. Find your true light. Thank you for listening. And That's the end of the announcement.
I'm gonna switch back to that 70 show.
It's a lot of words for, trust me, we're not a cult.
It's cool, bro. It's cool.
Yeah.
Ignore the mass suicide. It's fine.
Yeah, we did absolutely nothing wrong in enabling a guy to think he was basically God.
What she turned out to be.
He was not a god, he was merely a mortal man with strange abilities. Just because I can do a headstand doesn't make me a god.
Yes,
Right.
headstand.
So, headstands and floating through the air while glowing like a... Definitely the same level. You're right. I'm sorry.
Very much so, yes.
Now you see my perspective.
Oh, I see something for sure.
If you're seeing things, maybe you should tone down on the sedatives, bud.
You're right. Doctor, more please. I need more willpower.
I need all the willpower in the world. Yeah, no, you're not getting sedatives during the day. I guess you're gonna have a nice hospital lunch, aren't you? Or what is Z-Cell's takeaway from this announcement? Aside from it's not being sus at all.
Honestly, that's exactly what I expected for them to say. They're full of shit. They're trying to convince the public that we're the bad guys and all, and they're the victim.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna love the next announcement.
Stop.
Elaborate and then.
It's actually not from analysis at all. It's after you've had your hospital lunch. This is a press conference from NASA this time.
NASA?
NASA. Apparently, breaking news on CNN. Astronomers have detected a new object in the solar system. It's quite distant, just within the orbit of Pluto, and moving at a very high speed. It's a very large object, slightly larger than Mars, with a very powerful gravity well. And its location has been partially calculated by the effects that gravity has on the orbits of several celestial objects. Apparently it's also very noisy, radiating some kind of radio waves on very unusual frequencies. The speaking heads on TV are speculating on whether this could be the fragment of a neutron star. But, it hasn't been officially named yet, because there are several claims pending as to which observatory sighted it first. The object will come no closer to Earth than the orbit of Neptune and will leave the solar system in just under 2 months. That is the projection at the moment.
Cool. Not like my vision whatsoever. It'll be fine.
I need more sedative.
I need whatever he's having.
We all need what he's having.
Yeah.
Morphine!
Talbot,
Benadryl.
since you did say that you gave a very complete debrief to Agent Adam, I guess that includes the vision you had when you were lying down and after the crystal and,
Yep.
So it's only going to be about 15 minutes later that you get a call, Talbot. Yes, it's you this time, Talbot. On your special phone.
Yeah. Talbot here.
Agent Adam. Yeah, his voice is scrambled again.
I feel like Batman.
I need a proper voice scrambler. Is there a voice scrambler app I can use for Discord? I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm afraid Z-Cell is activated again. Go to Tulsa. Investigate if there is a link between the NASA discovery and the statement made by the leadership.
Right
Best
now.
of luck. Yes. Nobody knows analysis as well as you do. Best of luck.
Can we, like, get fixed up first? Or no?
You weren't paying attention to the press release from NASA?
I was, but I'm also on
We're
enough
out of
Benadryl
time.
to sedate a horse.
Go.
So,
We're out of time. Go.
alright, fine. I just hang up the phone and go shake everybody up. Alright, we're checking out. Let's go. Grab your stuff. Grab Zed.
Need more morphine.
We can take them to go, bud.
Don't think I
Adam.
can. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
Agent Adam said we had to go, bud. There's no snooze button on this. I tried.
Okay.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'd carry you to the car, but you're an adult.
I guess the good news is that it's just an hour by flight to go to Tulsa, and you have enough cause to use your FBI credentials, don't you? So I think we can scrounge up airplane tickets to Tulsa, because we need to make sure that the rest of Analysis is not involved in a conspiracy against the government or against the public, right? The hospital will not be happy to see that you're going, because clearly you need to stay in here for the week. But the call's been made. So here we go. I'm guessing we're gonna get like an evening flight to Tulsa from St. Louis International?
I guess, yeah.
Because booking a flight and all that, so. Let's see now. What time zone is Oklahoma in? Is it
I
mountain?
think it's central. I think it's central.
Yeah, it is central. Okay. I would have thought it was mountain time almost, because. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So you won't be changing time zones at least. Everybody packs up. Everybody's ready to go. So that's gonna be wheels down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In later that day, a city of what, 300,000 people or something like that. It's not big. I'm sure it has a local field office because it is the second biggest city in Oklahoma. But so I'm sure it has an FBI field office. But let's just say that you don't have Gaston out here.
Is there another Gaston?
No.
Yay.
No friendlies out here at all. You
Yay.
are not even a decent green box.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Remind me, Talbot, what's the mission?
Stop a planet.
You got us all out of bed, brought us to Tulsa.
Stop a planet.
Stop.
What?
Yeah, stop a planet. It's what I was told.
Did you elaborate literally anyway?
Adam did not elaborate, so I don't really have any material to elaborate on.
Except
Apparently
your
my
own...
vision...
Yeah, go ahead. Your vision?
Yeah, apparently my vision foretold this planet just barreling through the sky. But NASA said it'd be gone, so I don't really see why we're here. Yeah? And if the world's gonna end, at least let me die with all my hit points.
Remind me of your vision. What happened to your vision?
The first half or the second half?
Both?
Okay, so it started out where I was a naked old dude at a sex party. And then the crystal sucked out all my life energy, and that was really disturbing. And then the second half, I was just in space. Fully. And this angry red planet just starts flying towards me. And it's loud. And that was also disturbing.
What happens?
I don't know. I presume it hit me like a truck.
That's important.
To be fair, I was in the way.
And Adam just said to come to Tulsa and stop a planet. Didn't give us any other instruction or guidance or anything.
Trust me, I wouldn't have dragged you out of there if he wasn't adamant about this.
That's understandable. You don't just walk up to NASA, flash your badge, you go, that their planet.
Look, I think at this point we need more of a missile than anything.
Look at Morgan. You seem like the one who can get a missile.
You want a missile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't slept in 4 or 5 days, so I too want a missile.
I would like a missile just to have one. And also to go back home and do stuff.
Okay, I guess. I can get you a missile.
Thank you.
You have the address to Enulce's HQ here in Tulsa. It's, looking at the map, it's not more than half an hour drive from the airport, actually, because it's on the outskirts of town. But it's up to you if you want to head there straight away or just want to go to the local hotel and, I don't know, fall over with some sleep medication in liquid form for Fenton and other forms for others. It's up to you what you want to do with your time now.
Just
Maybe. Does Enulcis even want to talk to us?
It's up to you to figure out, isn't it?
do they know you're a federal agent, Talbot?
They
Aren't
know
you on
we're-
their? They know you're on their mailing list.
We're members.
If you want to go, I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about going back towards analysis right now, just me personally, but that's a good idea to go and get the feel for them and if they know what's going on. I don't know what else to do. We can't just walk up to NASA.
Yeah.
Like, we have no justification or basis for being here.
I guess we'll talk to Enulcis then.
It's 9 in the evening.
I
Oh.
guess we're going to bed then.
Oh,
I'm guessing we're not also doing a beer run as our first night on a new op.
is it a new op though?
Good question. I guess it's not.
Or maybe it is.
I haven't slept in 5 days without drugs. I just want to go to sleep.
I think it's a night of drinking for Fenton, but not the alcohol kind.
He can always choose some, I don't know, what kind of... Blair, you are a doctor. You're authorized to prescribe things to Fenton to help him sleep. Isn't that nice?
I'll say she did that over the plane ride.
Just get like some straight up horse tranquilizer.
No.
Please.
Of course,
Oh.
now we're talking about using opioids, aren't we? And there are no risks with that at all.
Addiction.
Do I have
Not
some
at
Benadryl
all.
that we could give him?
Let's see
Oh,
now.
no,
So, yeah, I guess you get a plus 20 if you're using sedatives for your sleep chances. Now,
Yeah, and,
frequent use
yeah.
of such drugs makes addiction to them a likely result of your agent's next disorder.
It's a good thing I'm just using it tonight then, and maybe tomorrow, and the day after that.
So now you have a plus 20 on your sanity check, Fenton. Go ahead. You're never gonna fail this one. I just jinxed it, didn't
Would you say that?
Oh
Why is this
no.
mean to me?
I?
Because it's fun.
Did it roll?
It rolled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a 16, which is in fact a success for you. Fenton will regain sanity points tonight.
Yay! I don't wake up screaming. I just scream.
No, you don't even scream. You sleep a very deep sleep of the righteous. So roll a d6 for regaining some sanity points.
Sandy or willpower?
No, willpower points. Blech.
Now I'll take Sandy too.
Nope.
2.
Yeah. Up to a 9 now. That's more than half. You're fine. I
9 out of
declare you to be
16.
fine. Everybody else
That's good.
is fully recovered in terms of willpower points, aren't you? So you're all good. Yeah.
Because I got pumped up power then. Jesus.
And since it's also the end of the day, I guess you get all the constitution check because you haven't actually done any work yet today. Fenton! When will you start succeeding with these checks?
I just want to go home, guys.
Blair! Another critical success on the constitution check. Roll a d4 for Blair. You're gonna be fine in no time, aren't you?
Yeah, that's
Well,
all I
not when you
needed
roll
anyway.
like that, you won't. Actually, that was
What?
all you needed, so.
Yeah.
Talbot is more than halfway back on your hit points. Yay! Unfortunately, from tomorrow, you're not going to be recovering any more hit points because you're going to be working. So,
No.
there's that. Alright then, I guess you are having a nice, good, long sleep on this. I know it says Friday and Saturday on that thing, but it's actually on my other calendar, it's a Sunday now. It's so confusing. I hope the modules will straighten themselves out soon. It's Sunday morning, 7 o'clock on this 6th of April, 1997. Our very weary agents of Z-Cell are waking up in a new hotel room, a very posh hotel room in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So many other posh hotel rooms you've been to. What is the plan for the day, agents? I guess this intermission got a little bit shorter than you thought it would.
Yeah. Talk to Analysis, I guess that's the plan.
Yeah, so we're here because you had a vision about a planet crashing into us, and now there's a planet in our Tulsa. So they just sent us here to investigate the planet, which is definitely the FBI's jurisdiction.
Yeah. I really don't understand why they sent us, aside from the fact that I saw it.
We're probably just the nearest Delta Green they have. But I wish they could at least give us a cover or something.
Yeah.
I guess we could approach Analysis as like the, hey, I'm doubting my faith because there's a big ass planet just entered the solar system and might hit us.
And this is very important, Talbot, I say, remembering the very first you ever you are not a federal agent. Repeat after me. I am not a federal agent.
I am not a federal agent.
Very good.
Talbot, you are a registered member of Analysis from St. Louis, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But not a federal agent.
I don't think
Maybe
they.
not for much longer.
I don't think they asked you about occupation. That's a good
She
thing.
volunteered the very first time she ever talked to them.
This is true, but did Diane and Sarah keep any records of it, though? And given
Now
what
she-
has happened in St. Louis lately, have the updated records for the St. Louis chapter been sent over to Tulsa and the headquarters? We can have
I
no
have-
knowledge of this because, frankly,
I have the road.
you do
Yeah,
have
and-
the robe, yeah.
And they're going to continue to have no knowledge of this because, repeat after me, Talbot, I am not a federal agent.
You are not a federal agent.
Had a girl. Look at him.
Talbot and Fenton are going to infiltrate Analysis, are we?
Not. No. Fenton's
Not
not.
you.
Analysis is in his dreams. He doesn't want to go to their building right now.
Does that mean that Talbot is going to infiltrate the place alone?
I'd help. I was Talbot's #1 minion, but I'm not a member.
That's the problem, isn't it?
You could join. She wasn't a member until she was.
Yeah, and if there are no records, we could just say she joined and then
What
stuff
recruited
happened.
me? You recruited me for your fancy new faith?
Yeah. See, I had a religious
Alright, yeah.
experience, and you just couldn't help but admire me.
Morrigan doesn't have a robe, or does Morrigan have a robe? We can retcon things from when you left St. Louis and just bring a robe, because you have access to all the evidence and all the accoutrements of the St. Louis chapter.
I can give her my robe.
That's true. Also, you have, like, crystals and everything, like the long ones that are pointy in both ends. So, you have all the things you need to infiltrate, except possibly... Let's see now. Morrigan's Humid is terrible. Persuade is a 40. I have a feeling that Cora Franny Talbot will be having to do all the talking. Because otherwise, they might see through your undercover work here, right?
I don't talk much anyways, it's fine.
That's fair. That's fair. You do not talk a lot.
Just wondering, is my dexterity still supposed to be 15?
No, it's not.
Okay.
You are back up. Because you've had enough rest.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point. The sprain is done with. You're good now. Ish. As good as you are gonna get, at least, which in this case is probably not good enough, right?
Yeah. Let's go talk to some cultists.
Right. So, Blair and Fenton, what are you gonna do while our friends are gonna talk to some cultists?
You go first, Blair, because that's the bathroom.
Yes.
Is there any way to see if NASA put up more information, or was that the only thing?
You can look
Information.
over the NASA website in case it exists, but I think it does because it's 1997, and it's going to be very rudimentary and filled with all the typical 1997 oh my god, my eyes are bleeding stuff, with rotating little gifs and stars that are blinking and I don't know, things like that. And all the information will of course be text-based, like press releases. Unfortunately, they haven't updated anything since the announcement, so no. But since we're doing a web search, how good is your computer science? It doesn't exist, Blair. Does anyone have any computer science in this group? Nope.
No.
Oh, that's great. We had a person with computer science. That person died horribly because the player left the group. Very sad. If any of you watching want to join, hit us up and start playing and bring a computer scientist.
Please. We're begging you.
The media at this point is actually starting to call this object that is being followed by the media. They're calling it Nemesis.
Oh.
Yep, amateur astronomers are calling it Nemesis because it's big, fast, and weird. And obviously, the amateur astronomers are freaking out because how is it possible that NASA couldn't see this relatively large object before it was within the orbit of Pluto? Of course, NASA will explain that it's entirely possible because we weren't looking that way at the time. We can only see what our telescopes are looking towards. Yeah. Weren't paying attention in that particular direction until just now. It happens. Space is big, let's just say. I don't know if that fills anyone with any type of confidence at all.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Blair and Fenton, you're just gonna, what, sit outside the compound and in a car? Or are we sitting in the hotel room by Talbot and Morgan, go inside the lair of the devil alone and we're never seen again? Or what are we, what is the plan here? I'm
So
curious.
Fenton? Go ahead, Blair. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna suggest we should probably be sitting outside in case something does go wrong.
Fenton has a pretty extensive academic history.
Yeah.
Is it possible that through his time going through academia and stuff, he knows somebody? Ask him. I mean, in real life, none of my friends have degrees in the same field I do.
Oh, you mean that one of your academic contacts through your little bonded network there might be an astronomer?
No, just all my years going to school, I know I'm going to school. Do I happen to know since who works at NASA now?
Roll a D100. Roll a under 25. Worse than a luck check.
Come on, Fenton.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, take that.
Take that.
Hell yeah!
Okay.
Let's
I could use
go.
you.
All right. So I guess you have a connection within NASA.
Oh, okay. Later than that, I'm gonna reacquaint myself with this connection and invite him out for lunch.
In
you
Tulsa,
didn't tell us?
Oklahoma.
Yeah, because I rolled a D100, so he happens to work here. Yeah.
No.
God damn it. Where does he work?
I
Probably down in Florida.
don't know.
Asshole.
Yeah, probably down in Florida or some others. There are plenty of observatories in the U.S., mind you.
So I'll call him up and reacquaint myself
So-
with him.
Let's see now. Lowell in Arizona, McDonald in Texas, Kitt Peak in Tucson, Arizona, the U.S. Naval Observatory in D.C., Griffith, of course, which is visitor friendly in Los Angeles. It's really not something that professors use anymore because, let's face it, the light pollution from Los Angeles is terrible. Lick Observatory in Santa Cruz Mountains. Hawaii has an excellent one on a volcano, and Yellowstone has a volcano observatory.
Where does this guy work?
Let's go with Flagstaff, Arizona, because it was the first thing that Lowell.
Alright. What did they do at Flagstaff NASA facility? Either way, I'll call him up, but we can do that later and see if he knows anything about this planet.
It's the Center for the Deep Ecliptic Survey Research Group.
I will research that.
Very cool. Yeah.
In real life. Speak of how that is.
Yeah, I just learned that right now.
Here I thought I was being clever.
Yeah, you did. Roll a luck check. Let's see if he picks up or not.
Oh god. Oh.
I trust in you. You can do this.
You do it.
Oh.
Tom. He never responds to my birthday cards either. He was not good of a friend, come to think of it.
Wait.
He never came
did
to
you
any of
send
my
him-
parties.
You have reached the answering machine of Dr. Emmett
Tom.
Larson of the Lowell Observatory. I'm afraid I can't take your call right now, but you know what to do after the beep.
But his mailbox is full too.
It's the 5th largest telescope in the contiguous United States, and one of the most powerful in the world.
Okay. I'm gonna leave a voicemail. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Hey, I thought something. Give me a call back as soon as you can. And I'm gonna call Laura and just talk to her. Useless session.
Oh, you're gonna be useless this session?
I'm clearly useless this session, so I'm just gonna sit back and let everyone else.
You're calling her at 6 a.m. Central, which is 9 a.m. Eastern. So why don't you...
6 a.m. Central will be...
No,
7 a.m.
you're 8 a.m. Central right now.
Okay,
So it's
8 a.m.
9
Central,
a.m.
okay.
Yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern. Let's roll another luck check. Is Laura picking up the phone? All the luck checks that Fenton makes are successful in this case. Okay, so yeah, she's picking up the phone.
She really thought about it then.
She'll pick up the phone. She's probably... are you calling her office or at home? Is she at home or in her office? Doesn't matter. Obviously, you reach her, but I'm just thinking about how she answers. She's... Hi, is Laura?
Yeah, no, just small talk. Shoot the shit. I can't do anything else.
No, but Brian, what are you saying to her? It's the first time you're talking to your girlfriend in, what, a week?
No, I told you I called her while I was in the hospital and everything.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So she's... Okay. But are you telling her that you're in Tulsa now? Of course not.
Yeah, I'd rather know that we're back out of the field, out of the hospital, and
Wow.
on the case still.
She's just... Really? In the... Aren't you supposed to be recovering in the hospital? Gee.
Yeah, something big came up, so...
They're driving you too hard. Can't they give you 5 minutes?
Oh, you take it up with a guy. Take a laugh. That's clearly a joke.
Meanwhile, Talbot and Morrigan are going to head over to the Nemesis compound, as it were. And I'm going to show you a map. Eventually, I'm going to show you a map. First of all, I'm going to describe what you're going to see. So, the first thing you're going to actually see when you're driving up to the compound here, it's half an hour away from Tulsa and the airport. It's... Where are we? Tulsa. There. Boom. Activate. It's sitting on a large estate, farmland estate outside the city. We're talking hundreds of acres of farmland. And the entire compound is surrounded by a 9-foot-tall, heavy chain link fence. As you're approaching the road is leading up to a guard booth at the front gate, and there's going to be a ton of camera crews out here. All the journalists are here, particularly local news in Oklahoma, because they want to learn more about analysis, and they have their news reporters. Though, at this particular moment, there's not a whole lot of activity, because, let's face it, analysis has just absolutely stonewalled the journalists, and after so long of hanging out in front of this place, eventually they're gonna get bored and go somewhere else. There is a guard booth at the front gate here, and yeah, Talbot, Morrigan, you're driving up to the guard booth. What are you gonna say to them?
We're members. I just hold up the robes. Can we come in?
Yeah, sure. Have you been to this headquarters before?
No, sadly, we were a member of St. Louis, but...
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, we've had a few others of you come over the past couple of days. What's your names again? They're gonna take down your names.
Cora Friday Talbot and Jacqueline Morrigan.
Alright. When you drive down the way here, when you get to the fountain, you'll have the dorms to the left, the main hall is right in front of you, and then of course the Hall of the Living Power, that's the pyramid, you can't miss it. There's also an e-compatibility research center and some supply buildings and the publishing company, but you don't have to bother about that right now. If you wait here a moment, I'll call down there and make sure that you get properly taken care of and shown to your dorm spaces. Hold on a moment. And he picks up a phone. He's dressed in a white uniform. Yeah, I have a couple of other St. Louis members who just arrived here. Can we have a welcoming committee for them, please? And he's going to smile to you. Excellent, excellent.
Talbot smiles back, but at the mention of dorms, she's a bit worried she'll get locked in.
Why are you laughing?
And, we're all just laughing maniacally, as it were.
Yeah, it's just evil stuff. We were thinking about adopting all the kittens before little children can get them.
And you're gonna drive into... You're driving past like these enormous farmlands. You can see far away there are, it's probably, I don't know, maybe a kilometer across, a square kilometer, the entire compound, maybe something like that. Half a square mile. I don't do weird freedom units. Anyway, they have their own, there are barns here. They're growing their own crops. They have the field. This is spring, so the fields are not, there's not much growing yet, but the fields are definitely prepared for the growing season. And there's going to be a parking lot, and in front of everything else, right in the middle between all the buildings, is an enormous statue. There's a fountain, and in the middle of the fountain is an enormous statue that is in fact one big quartz crystal, looking very much like the small ones that you have. And it is playing colors. It's like a laser show inside it, like blue, green, orange, red, alternating all the time. And two people are in fact standing here to welcome you. Okay, why isn't this working properly? Come on, machine. For some reason I can't access the... Okay, whatever. But yeah, they're here to welcome you. And they smile, and they are both beautiful, perfect physiognomy. Like they're fit, these people. They're working out, and just huge smiles as you exit from the car. And the man will step forward and say, "I'm Steve Mosley. Welcome to Analysis in Tulsa." And that, my friends, is where we're gonna end this session. And who knows if you were ever seen again, as the second part of this mini campaign begins. And this part is called Dawn of the New Age, which is not ominous at all in any way, shape, or form. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember, follow the channel for more Delta Green content. And communicating with ACEL is always done by chat, because we need to have operational security. And if you're checking in through YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell icon, comment in the comment section to have answers from ACEL. That's how we do it. See you in a week, everyone.
So question.